Hello, coaching clients. It's Dr. Connie, and today I want to share with you how to confidently deal with conflict, even if you normally try to avoid it. I'm getting a lot of questions in our sessions around this lately, so I wanted to develop some resources designed to help you. So, the first question I have for all of you is, how do you typically react when conflict happens? Just kind of think to yourself for a second. Whatever comes to you automatically is totally fine. Because I want to know what automatically happens in your body. What thoughts naturally come into your mind? How do you just feel when you can sense conflict happening? And those of you that try to avoid conflict typically sense it first. So think about this for a second. What happens when you find yourself in a situation where conflict is occurring? Just think about that for a second to yourself. And for those of you, I'm not coaching, but are maybe seeing this, I want to give you a little background about myself. I did spend 25 years at the University of Nebraska, with my last role being as executive director and chief futurist at the World Futures Institute, which was great because it was part of a University of Nebraska system-wide institute where we worked with our medical center. We worked with a campus in Omaha, campus in Lincoln, and a campus in Kearney, Nebraska, but also our extension division. So our goal was to really help rural people and places re-envision their futures, help them to really achieve something very purposeful and positive in the future. And around that time, or along with that role, I actually still had my own coaching and consulting firm, which I established in 2005 called Wild Innovation. It's a strategic foresight and leadership coaching firm that I've been running kind of as a side hustle for a long time before launching it full time in 2019. I have a bachelor's degree in natural resources, a master's degree in entomology, and a PhD in human sciences and leadership studies. I'm also a certified futurist and certified professional coach. And I love helping people really change their mindsets and behaviors. So we at Wild Innovation use a blend of neuroscience and also futuring to help our clients really achieve their purposeful futures. And conflict, of course, can happen when we're trying to do this because really change is about innovation, right? You're trying to make something different happen. And that naturally leads to conflict. It just doesn't need to look quite like this, right? Conflict can be internal. It can be considered an active disagreement between people with opposing opinions or principles. That's one definition of conflict. But it can also be very internal, right? It really can be considered as a state of mind in which a person experiences a clash of opposing feelings or needs. I want you to think about that definition just a little bit, right? A state of mind. So it's something that we're creating, but it's that clash of opposing feelings or needs. So we feel different ways, and it does cause that internal conflict. And conflict can be counterproductive, meaning it takes away energy or is a negative energy, or it can actually also be productive. And if you aren't familiar with Chris Voss, I really suggest you read his book or listen to his book, Never Split the Difference. It's great for people that aren't awesome or don't define themselves as being awesome at dealing with conflict, because he looks at conflict very differently and approaches it from a very different view than most. And I think it'd be very helpful to a lot of you who maybe think, oh, I don't know how to deal with it. I want to opt out of it. That first question I asked around how you feel in your body, if it starts to feel negative for you, he will help you get around that with some really simple tricks and tools. Conflict brings out truth, creativity, and resolution. So we want to reframe conflict a little bit too. We want to make it productive instead of counterproductive. Let me say it one more time. We want to make conflict productive instead of counterproductive. And that's exactly what Chris Voss does with his special blend of magic and his tools. So today we want to add to your leadership toolbox with a couple things and a couple key tools that I use in my own world. First is a futurist mindset, and that of course comes from Wild Innovation and what we do here. But I also want to focus on tactical empathy, and this is something I learned from Chris Voss. So tool number one, a futurist mindset. And I love to think of a futurist mindset like a spork, right? We've all used the spork, that coming together, the fork and the spoon, an innovation that somebody had to create and think about. But I really would suggest and challenge you all to think about developing a both and belief instead of the either or mindset, right? So, what can we create here that's new? How can we create a third option that we just didn't think about before? So, bringing those opposing views together and creating something even better. Because the futurist mindset really is not just solving a problem. I mean, obviously, many times we are looking to solve a problem, but we're also creating a future. So it's asking and answering both what problem are we trying to solve, as well as what future do we want to create? So, three steps to the both and belief. One, think of conflict, right? Think of it. Think of conflict, think of something you currently have with someone, a conflict as you would define it with someone or supervise someone you supervise, maybe even the workplace or even within yourself, right? Define that conflict. What are the two different beliefs, feelings, or parties really thinking about the situation? Get some detail around that. And then create the both and situation. How can you combine these thoughts, beliefs, patterns, ideas to create this third option or your sport? So, this is a great way to really sit down and think through a conflict. One, think of the conflict, right? Just get it out there, whatever you're thinking or feeling, define it, add that detail, and then think about okay, if we really combine these two areas, what's a really cool, innovative third option, our sport that we can think about? We've seen this with COVID, right? Where our old belief was we all go to work somewhere. And not everybody was doing this, but the workforce for the most part was. We go to a physical location, we spend X amount of time there, we go, we leave. Suddenly, everybody found themselves working from home. And now we're in the midst of creating our sport, right? Like, what's the future of the workplace going to look like? Is it going to be a combination of both? Is it going to be all virtual? Are we going to go back to an office? This will be different for different organizations. So they're all going to have to create their unique sports, their unique third options to work for their culture, their workplace, and their workforce. This I love. The next tool, tactical empathy, which really is the process of knowingly and intentionally influencing your counterpart's emotions to make deals. And again, this is from Chris Voss. Check him out. I mean, read his book, listen to his book, or even look at him and his website. He has a lot of videos, a lot of great tools out there. But again, I want to read that definition to you of tactical empathy. The process of knowingly and intentionally influencing your counterpart's emotions to make deals. Because in the end, conflict's really about emotion, right? It's about your emotion, it's about your counterpart's emotion. And you really want to influence that behavior for yourself and for your counterpart to make the deal. So we can use three steps to employ tactical empathy. One, tone of voice. Two, no denials or disagreements. And three, making people feel heard. Tone of voice. Love this one by Chris Voss. Sound like a late night FM DJ. So stay calm, stay cool, keep your voice really nice, nice, something you want to hear on the radio that's just calm and soothing, right? So again, it's that emotion that you're controlling for yourself to help control your counterpart as well, right? No denials or disagreements. The importance of self-awareness. Don't argue, even if you don't agree. This is really, really important. You don't want to escalate the energy of the situation, right? Regulate your ego and emotions. Stay in control of yourself in the situation. Actively listen and seek to understand. Summarize and repeat what has been said. Let them know they are being heard and generate positive energy. And for this tool, I like to use an alarm clock, right? Because you're really in control of the time element of the situation. You have to take the time to control the emotions and the tone and tempo of the situation and the energy as well. You have to make people feel heard. So don't agree or disagree, right? You're just observing and understanding, but use positive labels like it sounds like or it seems like. So make sure you're creating positive energy within the conversation or within the conflict. Summarize the conversation with notes so you're all on the same page. And really avoid the, oh, I understand, or yes, but, because those give people signals that are very negative, right? So avoid those phrases And recognize that empathy and sympathy are two different things. I think this is incredibly important, especially people that tend to be high feelers, right? A lot of times, high feelers will take on sympathy for a situation. So they start taking the energy of that situation on and feeling sorry for themselves and for the other person. You don't have to do that. You don't have to sympathize with them. Just empathize with them. Put yourself in their shoes and understand where they're coming from. That's it. Don't take on the situation yourself. I'm not sure who invented this, but I love it. So, for those of you that are more feeling in nature, practice being more like Teflon when you practice empathy, not like Velcro. You don't want things to stick to you and take them on. Rather, you want to listen, understand, but then they glide off, right? So be Teflon, not Velcro, right? In summary, conflict's a natural part of change and innovation. So I would really challenge you to reframe it in this way, especially if you feel very uncomfortable with conflict. It can actually lead to really great innovation and great productivity for yourself, your team, and your workplace. And it can be productive. It can also be counterproductive if not handled in the right way. So that's why all of us need to learn to deal with conflict. And as leaders, we get to choose how to handle conflict with our beliefs, our energy, and our mindsets. So make those conscious choices on how you want to show up in conflict and in challenging situations, because you can absolutely do it. And there are a lot of resources out there to help you. Again, I would highly recommend anything by Chris Voss. He's been very helpful to me personally, and I use a lot of his work with clients now because it's something that people can wrap their minds around the tools he uses, but it's also something where typically if you feel you're not great at conflict, you really are. You just need to learn to do it a little differently. So use that futurist mindset, that both and belief, right? There's always that third option, that spork, and take the time. Use that alarm clock for tactical empathy. Make people feel heard. We all want to be heard. We're all human, even those that are very data driven and scientific and engineering minds out there. We all make decisions and are run by emotion. So make people feel heard in any situation, right? Very important. Have a little fun with it. Continue to practice. Every day is an experiment. Every situation's an experiment. Really look at it like that. Start practicing using some of these tools. The more you practice, the easier it's going to get. May the force be with you as you do it. And give yourself permission to take some wild, inspired, natural actions just to test everything out here. Try tactical empathy even at home if that's a more comfortable starting place for you, but try in the workplace too. And really give yourself permission to win. And then try it in the workplace, see how it goes. If it's not perfect the first time, learn from it, do it again. Keep trying until it becomes more natural and feels good to you. So we'd love to learn and hear from you at Wild Innovation. What's your biggest takeaway from this video, this session? Please share your thoughts with us. That would be awesome. How do you plan on using what you learned? Love to know that too. Like if there's anything that you're going to try, if you're going to work on that both and mindset, or if you're going to try tactical empathy, we'd love to hear you around that. But also, we're always trying to do better too and create tools that you can use. So if there's something that you would like to hear about or learn more about as you navigate your way through conflict or even just in life, as you show up, again, we want people to develop those purposeful futures here at Wild Innovation. We want to help you be very intentional around that, but not just live for the future, really create your ideal future while having more fun and feeling more fulfilled in the present. Thank you. Live and lead your future because you're building your future today. What you do today matters. You're creating your future in the present moment. So please share anything with us that might be helpful. If you feel like telling us what happened when you tried these things, whether good or bad, we'd love to learn that. Or if there's anything you're needing that we can help with, we'd love to know that too. You can find us at AskDrConnie.com, which is migrating to wildinnovation.com. But also you can find me on LinkedIn, Connie Reimers-Hild, or on Instagram at Ask Dr. Connie. Thanks for listening. Good luck, and may the force be with you.